All right. So today I'm going to do some live work. I want to make a new pitch deck video, and I've been doing a an AI based process for making it happen. The problem most of the time with pitch decks or any kind of video that you want to create where you have like written content. This is very easy to overthink. It's very easy to avoid having to present yourself. And even if you do present yourself, because I can do that, it's still a pain in the butt. And honestly, I get sick of seeing myself. So the fact that I'm posting all the time with my stuff makes me like, what else can I put in there? So I create this process. Basically, I create these pitch deck videos for clients and partners and people I work with, usually in about 90 minutes. I'm going to try to do it in 60 minutes during this session. So if you're watching, hopefully I made it. If you are not watching, or if you're live, then you're going to see it happen. Hopefully, I'll make it. So today, what I want to do is a pitch deck for a new concept that I came up with called brand valuation. It's not really a new concept at all. What it really is just a formulation for verifying brand value through publicly accessible assets. So that's kind of the definition I'm coming up with. At the Academy, what we're trying to do is help brands improve brand value by creating content and making sure it's consistent with the brand. Because what you'll find with most brands is they're so inconsistent, you can't even really tell what or who they are in the first place. So today, what I thought I'd do is I'm going to make a pitch deck video, and it's actually going to have all of the different aspects that you'd want to see in a pitch deck. But I'm going to do it in 60 minutes because why spend more time? You know, there's a good chance that whatever you're doing is, not going to be super popular anyways. And so why not just get the job done? And then thanks to AI, we could start making lots of content. And then as the content either, pops off or doesn't, you could figure out if you want to keep making it or not. Hey, Tandra, how are you? Good to see you here. So I just had to do this work anyways. And I thought I'd just make it live so everybody could see me do it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I actually already created a definition for what I'm calling brand value. And what you'll see at the Academy is a lot of times we're doing stuff that seems obvious. Brand slogan, core brand offer, like, these terms are all used all over the place online. But when it comes to AI, if you don't define your company's term with whatever concepts you're talking about, then AI is just going to find its own definition. And your definition is definitely going to be different from the next marker's definition. So you literally have to make it. The other option is that you use a centralized list of definitions, which is what we've done with the Academy, just so we're all speaking the same terms. And that's really why I do definitions, because when I go to work with other marketing experts or branders or content creators, I don't want to spend time explaining something, because if we could all agree that this word means this, we could move on and we're still communicating really well. So that's why I'm a big fan of, like, if you're just getting started and you want to have a good database of content on your website, just start doing definitions for the stuff that you use on a daily basis, which is, why I'm creating this video, because I had to do this anyways. So let's go ahead and talk about the definition of brand value. This isn't the final definition, but I thought I'd use it today because I actually use the process of like creating content to create ideas instead of, hey, I'm going to create ideas and then I'm going to make content. I just do the whole thing at the same time because why not? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to use this definition to write a pitch deck script. Then we're going to feed that script into an avatar using HeyGen. While that's being rendered in two different angles, I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to generate some background imagery, and then I'm going to generate those images using Midjourney, and then I'm going to animate those images using Runway, and then I'm going to pull it all together with a cool song that I make on Suno using Adobe Premiere Pro. So you could use a bunch of different tools. This is just my set of tools, but I like to demonstrate this because it shows people not just like, oh, hey, look at this awesome thing I made, but a step-by-step process for doing it yourself. And that's where we're going to come back, so full circle back to brand value, because brand value, if you've never sold a business, what you end up doing is really looking at the past record of the company, the assets, and the assets are usually just like the really hard assets, like, oh, I own construction equipment, and that's an asset. But a lot of us have digital businesses. So what's an asset for a digital business, right? It's actually your digital asset. So if you have a podcast, you have maybe 50 episodes of a podcast podcast. What if we come up with a value for each one of those individual episodes to say, hey, this episode generated this many downloads, this much traffic, and based on the topic, maybe the future value is still there. It can still get downloads in the future. And if it's raw content, then how much could that raw content be worth as a driver for an AI? So a lot of people don't realize, but we are running out of information. Like our existing AI platforms have consumed all the information on the internet, and where's new information? And the problem right now is that that AI is also generating new information. So is that new information, or is it just regurgitated in a different way? Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, it's going to need more content soon. So the more content you make personally, the more valuable your brand's going to be, and you could actually start making, money, especially if you sell your business in the future, or you're able to transfer these assets using something like an NFT or some kind of tokenization system. Anyways, I'm going to get into all that, as we keep going. But just to get my partners, one of which is online right now, the information they need about the concept, which is the concept that you can improve brand value by making more consistent branding and exemplifying your branding elements using content like podcasts, videos, and articles. There's a million different types of content, but those are the three major ones that I like to cover. So we're going to look at the definition. I'm going to write a script, and then we're going to do all the other junk that I just said. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so this is Perplexity. Perplexity is a really cool tool, and it keeps on getting better. I do use ChatGPT a lot, but Perplexity, if you have to do research online, you can't really beat it at this point. Also, you could use some of the overseas, options, and even Perplexity kind of is that, but they're obviously cool with the USA, so it's still available. Anyways, so I use this for a lot of research, and especially if I want to justify my theory with actual examples or with some kind of sourceable material. Perplexity always gives you the sources, which is very helpful. Okay, so I have this definition, brand value. Brand value is the dynamic and quantifiable worth of a brand derived from its collective assets, essential attributes, style, consistency, and overall strength in the market. It represents the sum of tangible and intangible elements that contribute to a brand's influence, perception, and economic potential. So we have brand assets. This would be everything that you are, your websites, your content, social media profiles, databases, and multimedia content. You have your brand essentials, the foundational elements. You have your style guide, consistency, and this is really judging like how strong your brand is by how well you are at showing the brand in different contexts, but making the same impression. And then finally, brand strength is the overall health and perception of the brand measured by total number of assets, consistency index, and public perception index derived from sentiment analysis and market feedback. All right, sounds pretty fancy, but basically, what AI is allowing us to do is assign these values, track the information, and actually create dynamic kind of like valuations for each individual piece of content based on its current performance. All of this stuff, if you're wondering, is very complicated, but it's something we've always wanted to do. We just haven't been able to because we didn't have a machine that could do the hard work for us. And there's no way some person is going to sit down every 5 seconds and look at the value of an article for an individual brand at the same time. But AI can do that. So that's why we're doing this. Okay, so that's the overall definition. I like using Claude when I'm doing creative projects. I'm going to go and pull that up. And voila. Now, I'm not going to show this today, but typically I only do work in projects for individual brands. So here you could see, Dads and Autism Land, my podcast. We just did our AI-driven branding and marketing summit. And then I try to contain all the chats in one. That way I could reference them in the future and also power the development of the AI itself. So this is a new concept. So I'm going to go ahead and say create project. I'm going to call this brand value. What are we trying to achieve? We're creating assets for the concept of brand value and the AI Branding Academy's new valuation system. Perfect. Great project. Okay, now I do want to train this a little bit. So I want to upload what we call our brand pillars. So brand pillars, if you are part of the academy, You'll hear that word a billion times. That wasn't really my intention originally, but that's what happened. So the brand pillars are like the nine key, elements of a brand. So you have, of course, your brand name, brand summary, brand vision, brand slogan, core brand values, core brand offer, brand voice, brand archetype, or brand avatar, and then finally customer avatar. I'm not going to explain what those are right now. Just know that they are very important, and every brand has these. They just usually don't write them down, and they definitely don't consider them when they're making a bunch of decisions. So I put them all in one place. Now, my company, AI Branding Academy, has their own. So I'm going to go and pull that up. There's I just saw it, AI Brand Blueprint. And the blueprint itself is a lot more than just the brand pillars. You can see this is a full blueprint. It's 126 lines, so 125 different data points, all with multiple data points within them. It's a lot of data points. But that's what we help people make here. So we're going to go ahead and grab the pillars, or the first nine, copy that. And now I'm going to train my AI. So I'm going to say project knowledge plus, and I'm going to add text content. And I'm going to call this the AI. Oh, some Mobley's here. We're going to call this the AI Branding Academy Brand Pillars. All right. So I just added my content. I could go into further detail. You know what? I do want to put my definition. So I'm going to put the definition of what brand value means. So I'm going to add text content. We're going to call this brand value. Or actually, it needs to know it's a definition. So I'm going to say definition brand value. Come to my new Perplexity definition of brand value. Copy that. Come in here and paste it. Don't worry about formatting when it comes to AI. It knows what you were trying to do. Easy peasy. All right, so now I've trained my AI. It knows about my brand, and it knows about the definition that we're going to be referencing with this project. And now what I'm going to do is just do a simple prompt to make a pitch deck script. So I'm going to say, please create a pitch deck script for a 60-second video created to promote the concept of brand value. And then I'm going to put in parentheses, brand value is defined in knowledge. All right. I want a strong starting hook, dynamic selling points, and interesting statistics regarding previous cases of we'll call it high brand value. And I'll generate that in the end. I want to convince business owners that it's possible to create lasting assets for their company by building digital assets like content, aka podcasts, articles, books, magazines, videos, etc. Oh, courses. What are courses in there? Courses, etc. Okay. Also mention that this concept will be extremely important as Web3 becomes more widespread. And we're going to say, for example, e.g., crypto, blockchain, NFTs, tokenization, etc. Okay. Here are some stats, and then parentheses, I'm going to say pull the best ones. You'll notice I use parentheses a lot in prompting, and I kind of use it as a sub concept. And so if I have like the big concept is the main subject of a sentence, in parentheses, I'll break down into like a sub concept for the concept I just said. I think it works. I've never reviewed people to say like that makes sense, but that's the way I think. So I keep doing it. Okay, now I don't now Claude does not have access to the internet, so I'm going to go back to Perplexity and I'm going to say, please create a list of case studies and statistics in regards to tying brand value. I'm going to put it as a capital so it knows I'm referencing a proper pronoun. In regards to tying brand value to digital assets and overall brand perception measured using the formula above. Okay. Now, the reason you have to use Perplexity again is because it has access to the internet and it does a very good job of sourcing. Plus, it seems to know what you're talking about really well. Okay, website redesign and brand perception. Case study: a company undertakes a website redesign focusing on improving user experience, and then it's referencing the aspects of the formula, which are interactive styling and visual styling. Uh, do, do, I want actual stats. Okay, so this time what it did was it looked at my formula and then it made up case studies. I don't want it to do that. Let's see. Statistics: 80% of consumers are more likely to purchase a brand that offers personalized experiences. Oh, that's actually a good case. Let's see. Statistics: 74% of consumers say that engaging with a branded event makes them more likely to purchase the products being promoted. Okay, so in this case, when I'm talking about brand value, um, the number of events a brand would make would actually have an impact on their brand value because they could say like, hey, we do 10 events a year. Every event has 500 to 1,000 people. And so technically I'm, accessing 10,000 people that other brands might not because they don't do events. Okay. So that would be, a theoretical brand aspect of brand valuation. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit more specific. Just do real world stats that are very interesting to anyone who knows about branding or not. And again, the way you phrase questions usually makes a big difference because I'll get a totally different answer than if I just said, give me stats on branding. Okay, brand value and market cap. Interbrand's best global brands report consistently shows a strong correlation between brand value and market capitalization. Companies with high brand values, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, often have significantly higher market caps, demonstrate the tangible financial impact of a strong brand. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm getting lazy, so I'm just going to copy all this. All right, copy, paste, voila. All right, so now it's going to generate. Now you could, I was pretty lazy about the prompt on the actual script writing, but a lot of times you'd be surprised when you leave room for it to be interesting. So here we go. What if I told you that your most valuable business asset isn't on your balance sheet? Accountants gasp everywhere. Brand value isn't a fuzzy concept. It's quantifiable worth derived from your digital assets, core attributes, and market strength. Consider this. Companies with strong brand value, like Apple and Microsoft, consistently show higher market caps, translating recognition directly into dollars. 77% of consumers buy from brands that share their values. Consistent branding offered across platform increases revenue by up to 23%. 86% of consumers will pay more for better brand experience. Your digital assets, websites, content, social profiles aren't just marketing tools. They're appreciating assets, building lasting value for your company. Content marketing generates 3 times more leads than traditional marketing, but costs 62% less, blah, blah, blah. As Web3 evolves through blockchain, NFTs, and tokenization, your brand assets become more than reputation. They become tradable, ownable digital property with intrinsic value. Don't just build campaigns, build lasting brand value through digital assets that appreciate over time. Traditional branding, AI powered application, measurable results. I just put my slogan in there. So this isn't bad, but it really focuses on like you should make content because sometimes it increases value. I don't like that. My concept is really that the utilization of AI and NFTs specifically is going to lead us to be able to say my brand is worth X dollars and have that be justifiable by the traffic and impressions that your brand is actually making every day. So it's a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Rewrite the script, but or I'm saying and focus more on the fact that I'll say many of the aspects of branding that would only lead to goodwill on the balance sheet can now be quantified and valued instantly using AI. For that reason, in the Web3 space, all content could lead to a massive, verifiable increase in value for small business owners. I'm going to say also avoid using heartless, greedy corporations in our video because they suck. All right. There we go. The measurable magic of brand value. What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset? For too long, your brand's worth was regulated to the nebulous goodwill line on your balance sheet. Today, AI changes everything. Brand value is now dynamically quantifiable, measured in real time through your digital footprint, content engagement, and market perception. Yesterday, your podcast was just marketing. Today, AI measures its precise contribution to your brand value. Tomorrow, that same content becomes a tokenized asset in Web3. Oh, this is so much better. Okay, so this is the real concept behind what I'm talking about, where it's, yeah, you could do content marketing, you'll get more impressions. That's not the point. The point is that you have, and what's really happening, and we talked about this last week at our summit, where you have these pieces of art, turned into NFTs. They're being traded for thousands, tens of thousands, millions of dollars. And it actually has nothing to do with the art. It has to do with the rareness of that asset and how many people own it. Like, that's it. It doesn't have anything to do with like, oh, it has artistic value or even business value in that sense. So with that said, what if they actually did have those things? And that's kind of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to say, please create, or please give me just the script with no guidelines. And I could easily change this, but I'm lazy. Oh no, I still wanted that stupid thing. Gonna have to add that back in. Okay, that's good. Whatever. Okay, so let me go and copy this. That's gonna be a hard time about that. Copy. I like to trace everything, so I'm gonna say new Google Doc, and I'm gonna say ABA brand value pitch deck. Voila. Yeah, paste. Good to go. Okay, so now I have my script looking good. Next, I need to have somebody say it. Now, I could say it. Now, Runway actually has the ability for you to take a video of you talking, and then you could change out you for AI version of you or a dog or anything you want. I'm not going to do that way this time. I'm going to actually just use a company called HeyGen. So I'm going to heygen.com. And now I'm going to select an avatar. So here are the avatars they have available. Quite a few, but they're all kind of generic. And what you're looking for here is the right one for your brand. So I'm not thinking in terms of like, what do I like? Or even what the content is. I'm thinking, what's the best representation of my brand? I kind of like her, Rita, because she has a blue jacket on, and that's my brand colors. And it could be as simple as that. A lot of times I'm looking for multiple angles, and here you can see it has a number of looks. So here's one look. So if I use this guy, it's not going to work out because I'll only have one. Now, the reason why you want two angles is because you could shift back and forth between the two. It makes it look more real because it gives the user less time to actually see that it's an AI talking. So let me show you an example of what this ends up looking like. Actually, this is show you my father-in-law's video I made for him as the missing beetle, and I used AI to make it look like that. It's pretty funny. Come on, baby. Okay, here we go. I'll show you the adventure headquarters. So this is a company I'm helping out. Make sure my sound is on here. There we go. All right, so here's what we're making. Should have started with this.
The future of outdoor adventure isn't just about trails and peaks. It's about connecting technology with real-world experiences. Introducing the Adventure Headquarters, where AI-powered personalization meets authentic outdoor community. We're building more than an app. We're creating an ecosystem where every adventure is tailored, every achievement is rewarded, and every user is part of something bigger. With a projected $1.3 trillion outdoor recreation market by 2026, we're positioned at the intersection of AI, blockchain, and human connection. The Adventure Headquarters, where technology enhances the journey, but never replaces the destination. Join us in redefining outdoor community.
Voila. Okay, so nothing in that was real. The people, the speaker, like everything's not real. So, but I was able to do it very quickly. Now, once you get into this, and this is where it kind of, you have to do it for real, is if this works out, then you say, okay, let's go ahead and make a real video and shoot it for reals. It will just cost 100 times more. So you don't want to do it first off. And even for the ideation, you might want to just create this to show the filmmaker, like, hey, here's what I'm going for. Okay, let's keep going. So in that regards, I do need to find a speaker, and ideally they have more than one look. So usually if you go towards the top, you'll see like Conrad. I'll click on him. You can see he has two looks, and he has two different takes on that same scene. And the reason you do that is because the video I just showed you doesn't do that, but another video I'll show you will. It's because you could switch screens. So when you're cutting, you could do a cut without making it look like a cut if you have a secondary scene to put in there. But let's go ahead and select somebody different. I'm going to go female. We're talking about the future, so you want kind of like a futuristic vibe, but you also don't want to be cheesy. So it's a balancing act. And this is where you being a professional comes in, especially if you're creative. It's like this guy looks like a tech startup guy. Ooh, she has a lot of 8 looks. Oh, looks are not necessarily angles. Very European. Let's see her. This might work. Okay, so you do have 2 angles here. You have her sitting down, and then you have her standing up. That's the same kind of angle because they're both from like a 45 degree. The sofa front, now she's facing the camera. So I could probably mix this one with this one. And so let's go ahead and try it out. So I'm going to do this first.
Welcome to the new era of video creation with HeyGen. Simply type your script to get started.
I don't know if her voice fixed her look though. That's but you can switch out the voice. Anyway, we don't have much time, so I'm going to go ahead and run with it. So let's go ahead and do site 2, create video landscape. Typically, you're always going to use landscape. And you can go back and change it later if you don't want vertical. But as long as the speaker is centered, you could turn this into a vertical, no problem. All right, so now I have her open. I'm going to double click on the text, and I just come in here and paste. Ooh, and let me do it. You have 2,000 characters, so keep that in mind. Now, when you're doing this, you may, I hate it when it does that. If you hit enter, it will not drop the line. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. And then let's go ahead and hear for a second, because sometimes it doesn't sound good. English original accent. Actually, if you're testing things, don't paste the entire thing. You could just paste like the first line, and you'll get the reading a little bit faster. And recording.
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset? For too long, your brand's worth was relegated to the nebulous goodwill line on your balance sheet. Today, AI changes everything. Brand value.
Not bad. I think it's, we'll see how it does, but let's go and check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and submit. And again, I'm going to have this copied. Now, what you want to do is listen to the whole thing, because sometimes AI will pronounce a certain word or like not understand punctuation. So you'll want to check it, because sometimes you do have to modify what it says, but I'm going to leave it because, again, I'm lazy. All right, we're going to call this brand value 1. Usually I do 30 because that's the standard film. And if you're doing B-roll, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second, 30 is the typical. So I'm going to do brand value 1, submit. Looking good. All right, now I'm going to go back into avatars. I'm going to go to Milena again. And now I'm going to do the front view of this same angle, I think. So now I can go back and forth.
Welcome to the new era of video.
And go landscape. And again, click on the text, paste. Voila, we're good to go. All right, and submit. We'll call this brand value 2. And FPS is 30 and submit. All right. So while that's cooking, let's go ahead and talk about what kind of B-roll we can get to kind of support what's being said. And this is a really important aspect because if somebody just has a fixed thing of somebody talking, it just gets boring and people just stop paying attention really fast. And I know this statistically from making YouTube videos. So you want to keep it interesting, and B-roll really does that. So let's go ahead and ask AI what type of B-roll we want. I want to make 5 clips or 5 pieces of B-roll to break up the content and provide additional interest for the concepts. Please suggest 5 lifestyle images. Saying lifestyle images makes a big difference because if you just say like, hey, I want some techie cool stuff, it'll come up with some off the wall graphics, and the B-roll I'm going to make, I don't want that necessarily. I want it to be like accessible, which is what you saw with the adventure headquarters pitch. So I'm just going to say, please suggest 5 lifestyle images because it'll know what you mean that would appeal to the customer avatar. And again, the customer avatar is part of the training that I gave this project in Claude. And now I say 5 pieces because if you just say like, hey, give me background images, it'll be like, here's 1,000 background images. You're like, now I have to go through all these. But instead we get this. So professional woman leading a modern boardroom meeting, show a confident female executive in her mid-40s facilitating a discussion with a diverse team using digital tools to present marketing concepts. This resonates with Maria's identity as a marketing agency owner and her leadership traits. So again, it's the customer avatar, Maria, that I uploaded into here, and that's why you get these specific aspects. Now, if I changed my customer avatar or my branding, this would change as well. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it simple. So I'm going to go into Midjourney. Create. And you can see some of the, I was actually going to go with this look, this kind of like retro wave lifestyle photography. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I think it looks cool. So I'm going to keep that going. So I'm just going to replace colorful, and this is kind of like a what I call a brand prompt, where if I use this prompt every time I'm creating AI imagery, I'm going to get similar results, which means now I have this branded look, and it's really easy to create because I just have this list of the prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and just what the heck? I don't know why, but sometimes when I hit my keyboard, I think I wore out my command button. Like I said, put that back. Let me go back into Claude. I'm going to grab professional woman leading a modern boardroom meeting. Copy. Go in here, paste, comma, and we're good. All right, now I'm going to look at my specs, make sure these are good. I do want landscape 16:9. That's your standard for video. Stylization, the way I describe this is giving creative control to the AI. Don't want to do it too much because it will go crazy. So 100 to 200 is pretty okay. Weirdness, not a good idea most of the time. And variety, what variety does is it produces more crazy stuff. So like the variety in this image down here, these 4 was high because it's totally different images. If you just say like, I want this, it'll give you similar images, which, just depends on what you need. Okay. Model's fine. Version's fine. And we're looking good. Okay. So let's see what it does. See how HeyGen's doing. 60%, 60%. I will say, if you're talking about anything with crypto, it's going to reject you because I made these 2 and I was like, oh man, that's such a cool concept. But apparently talking about Web3 is a-okay. So good to know. Let's see. Oh, a little water pressure. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So you definitely, and you could see it. You saw these images that I was creating before, and you could see how similar these. So these feel branded. They feel like the same brand made them. Pretty cool. And these, and since there's not a lot of movement, and that's a key with making B-roll, is if you try to add a bunch of movement, like, oh, I want a guy running through the jungle, and then he climbs up on a vine, and he swings across, well, like it's gonna screw it all up. Like you got to keep minimal movement. And so these are good examples of minimal movement. This one you could tell she's supposed to be presenting and talking. So it'll probably be okay to use something like this. But let's go ahead. I like this one up here. Subtle, refined, looks good. We're going to save my image. I probably should make a folder for this. We're going to pitch deck training. Save. All right. Now I'm going to use another AI called Runway. All right. So let's go ahead and say start a session. I'm going to select my asset, the picture I just uploaded or I just made. Voila. All right. 12 by 68. That's good enough. And now the trick with this is pretty simple. Just use the same prompt you used in Midjourney for this image now. So I'm going to go back into Midjourney. I'm going to grab this prompt. Now, if it does something too crazy, which I have the word shocking in here, so it might fire electricity, you never know. I might just use this prompt: professional woman leading a modern boardroom meeting. But I'm going to copy the whole thing and we'll just see what it does. See if it gets too nutty. But you never want to leave this blank. I used to leave it blank, and then all you get is these really lame panning shots. But if you add in a little bit more, maybe not this much more, but a little bit more, then it starts to do some really neat things. Let's see how HeyGen's doing. Oh, we're almost there. It's all going to line up and I'm going to get the job done. I was looking at the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this in under an hour. I do this 90 minutes. That's like my claim to fame is I do this in 90 minutes. Not bad. Okay, now the trick with picking whether this is good or not, and you can see there's a little error in the beginning where her hands are together and then they separate. Like that's not supposed to happen. However, if I cut it right here, like right after it separates, it might still be okay. Or if it's just a flash of it, it still might work. I hate that it did it in the middle though, because that's a little trickier, but whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I'm going to download this. There we go. Let's go ahead. We'll do at least three. Okay, urban coffee shop with entrepreneur working on laptop. Oh, that's good. That's easy. So well-dressed, reviewing analytics dashboards and upscale Chicago cafe with cityscape visible through windows. I could do this whole thing, but again, if you want a good result, the less you prompt, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that recommendation I just made. Again, I'm going to keep all that stuff the same: colorful, retro wave, lifestyle photography, dramatic lighting, and shocking. Voila, and done. And this is, if you're going for speed, is um move fast. I think is what I was trying to say. Sorry, my wife just texted me. We have like a water warning in Texas. You deal with that sometimes, at least in Austin. It's like they don't know people are moving here. Okay, so and again, this is the point of visual branding because I specified the prompt. Now this shot and this shot looks like it was done by the same person, and that's the key here. This is what makes things look professional. Because if you didn't do this and you're just like, oh, I'll just grab whatever, it's gonna get different quickly. And inconsistency is the enemy of good branding. Should probably put that on a little meme or something. Okay, so let me save my image. Save. I'm gonna come back into Runway and start over. And again, I'm going to come back into Midjourney. I'm going to grab my prompts so it knows. I'll go ahead and leave the whole thing since I did that last time. And generate. All right. And so now you can see where you can start getting fast. Executive networking at a high-end marketing conference. Copy. Come in here. Replace the content. Paste. Go. And I'm working on my next set. And all the while, we got HeyGen going. Okay, we'll give AI a rest, or these AI a rest. Let's go ahead and go to Sonu.com. Sonu is, oh no, Suno. I was like, Sonu doesn't sound right. Suno is where I generate music. I need a 60-second clip. So I'm going to go to create. And here's my past ones. Actually, I just did this for the event. Oh, it's an hour 25. And so I did a synth wave. Again, this is on brand for me. Has a good pickup. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's only a 60-second video. Okay, I'm just going to use this. Now, to build this, I actually asked my brand pillar GPT, which I could do here. So since it has my brand pillars, I could say, based on my brand pillars, create a 200 character prompt for an AI to create background music for this project. I want it to be retro synth wave. Now, you do want to put that in sometimes, because sometimes you won't like it, and I'm a big proponent of your clients liking what you create. It's way easier than because if some guy's like, I like classic rock, like you're not going to be like, you should like techno instead. It's just going to piss them off. So instead, you give them a little bit of what you want, but you're still considering all the brand values that actually generate the consistency you're looking for. So I'm going to use this one, but let's go ahead and see what it generates. So I'm going to paste that in there. Even though you say 200, sometimes it'll give you more than 200. To get around this, a lot of times I'll use ampersands instead of the word and. That saves a couple, and you can keep on going, but I think I fixed it right there. Okay. Classic lyrics model, I use the not custom tab, and then I'll use instrumental because I don't want words, and it will make up words. Just know that sometimes it cusses, so don't be offended, but that happens. I'm going to say create, and then literally I'm going to have my soundtrack. Now, this is totally free. I don't pay for Suno at all, and you can see how many tracks I've made because it's so much fun. So if you haven't tried this yet, try it out. It's a blast. All right. Shaping the future. I like that. And you could name it. You could also do the words. I could have done like, hey, bake a background, whatchamacallit, background song or like a jingle for this project, but then you'll have to intersect with the words, and that's kind of a pain. All right, I got my videos. Let's go ahead and download this. Oh, an hour, minute 24. It wasn't supposed to be that long. So let's see what it looks like.
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset? For too long, your brand's worth was relegated to the nebulous goodwill line on your balance sheet.
Now you can see like it's kind of obvious that it's AI, and this is why you have to do the multiple angles, because instead of having her like kind of look all jittery for a little bit, I could switch over to the secondary camera, and then it's less obvious that it's AI. So let me go and get that one. Go back. Let me grab my second one.
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset?
Actually, this angle is better. You could see how she moves less jerkily, I would say, and it's just the angle changed a little bit, which is what makes it look good. Oh no, my download's stuck open. That usually means I'm running out of data or running out of space on my computer. Hold on one second, let me fix that. All right. Share. No, I want download, done. All right, we're looking good. Let's go and go back to Runway, and let's see what our second clip looks like. Pretty cool. Little static, but still pretty neat. Good zoom in effect. So let me go and grab this one. And since we only have 10 minutes left, I will have to make that good enough. So let me go and download. There we go. Let's go and go back. Let's listen to our new music. Oh, it's got the love. Got the beat. Now remember that this is supposed to be background music, so you don't want it to be like too dynamic because it'll distract from the rest of it. Let me try Neon Dreams real quick. This is much more subtle, kind of like emotional. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one. Now the cool part is, who cares? You generate this thing in 2 seconds. It doesn't really matter if you think it's awesome or not because it was that easy to make. Okay. Since we only have a few minutes left. Oh, hey, we got one more. So let's see. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now, again, it depends on what you think AI is going to do with this footage. This guy looks pretty cool because he'll probably just be nodding and not talking. The talking usually messes things up. But I also like this, the silhouette, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to use this because I'm hoping it'll look a little bit more real. So again, we can grab it, run into Runway one more time, start a session, select asset, upload your file. Again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to grab the prompt, paste that there, and generate. Now, some of these do cost like points each time. And just so you know, my theory for the future of AI and actually the economy in general is this is how everything's going to work moving forward. You're always going to be setting up a wallet with tokens because pretty soon there'll be tokenized networks where you could use tokens from, say, 5 different AI apps from different companies, and you as the consumer doesn't even notice because it's just accessing the same wallet. So now instead of you having to set up 5 different accounts paying $50 a month, you might just say like, hey, I have $50. Let me go ahead and use it in the areas I need it. And now I'm not wasting money. And really you're getting direct value for the money you are spending versus, I think most SaaS companies are what I call like a gym membership model where you expect 80% of people never to use it. And that's factored into your profitability. I think that's unethical business. So I don't promote it. There you go. Okay, so again, very subtle. This guy's looks like he fell asleep at the table. Maybe he's thinking really hard. But in general, you're probably looking at her. She's the center of this of attention. So it'll probably still work. So let's go ahead and download it. All right. So we have all of our assets. So let's go ahead. See my to-do list, which never ends. And I'm going to pull up Premiere Pro. There we go. And now I'm going to show you how easy this is to throw all together. So I'm going to go new project. We call this ABA brand value pitch. Sorry. Oh no. I had an actual folder for that. Oh well. Create. Yep. So over here. Voila. Okay. So now we got our open, and you could use iMovie as long as it's stackable. That's the trick with doing this kind of editing. I'm going to import my media by going to my pitch deck training. And I think I want, actually, I don't need the original pictures, but I do need this and my talker, my speaker, my background music, and my B-roll. All right, so first I'm going to create the whole thing by grabbing my 2 avatar clips, drop those in. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stack them on top of each other. And the reason I do this is because it makes it cutting really easy. All right, so there we go. And so now I play it.
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset?
Okay, so that looked kind of robotic, but what if we did this?
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset? For too long, your brand's worth was relegated to the nebulous goodwill line on your balance sheet.
All right, so you can see how just doing that one camera switch actually added it made it look more dynamic where it's like, oh, this is produced. Now, just a little trick here. You have 2 soundtracks on here. I could mute this one, but I'm going to go ahead and just delete it. So to do that, you are going to unlink your audio and your video, delete that, and delete this. And now it's running on the same. Oh, shoot. I didn't do it to that one. Sorry. Unlink. And voila. Okay. That's looking good. And so when you're editing, and this is again just I don't know if anybody likes to edit video, but we all end up doing it. Sometimes looking at the waveform will show you where the pauses happen. There's the pause. And that's really where you would go back and forth between cutting it and not. But let's go ahead and grab our, and so I'm just going to do a quick edit because I'm almost out of time, where I'm basically going to have one line and I'm going to switch the camera angle.
Sheet. Today, AI changes everything. Brand value is now dynamically quantifiable, measured in real time through your digital footprint.
Again, I'm going to cut there. I'm going to move this to another endpoint.
Content engagement and market perception. Yesterday, your podcast was just
Yesterday, it separated that whole thing. Hold on, I got to do a quick edit there. Cut that. Cut both of these. Delete. There we go. All right.
And market perception. Your podcast was just marketing. Today, AI measures its precise contribution to your brand value tomorrow.
I think it screwed up where it's, oh, it had a colon. This is what I was saying. You have to like look at what it's actually doing, because instead of making that one line, it's separated into today, tomorrow.
That same content becomes a tokenized asset in Web3. Content marketing generates 3x more leads at 62% less cost.
And again, I'm not like a super fan of this speaker. I think and this is actually, just so you know, it is an actual person. A person read to this company and then they turned her into
86% of consumers willingly pay more for brands they connect with.
Go.
It's a value building asset that AI can now measure and verify.
Go.
No more guessing your brand's worth. Know it, grow it, own it. In the emerging Web3 economy, your content doesn't just represent value, it becomes value through tokenization, creating verifiable digital assets from what used to be just marketing expenses. Don't just create content. Build quantifiable brand value that appreciates over time and transitions seamlessly into the asset-based future of Web3.
Perfect. Okay. Well, not perfect, but good enough. All right. So we got our primary kind of footage. Let's go ahead and drop in our neon dreams. Most of the time you want to decrease this to like negative 24 decibels. So I'm going to go audio gain. I'm going to say adjust gain to negative 24. Okay. And then I'm actually going to increase her to probably like +6. Oh, yeah, there you go. I called it 6. Okay. Do that one. Again, audio gain 6. Looking good. Make it shorter. All right, so we're looking pretty good. Now I'm going to drop in, and again, since I'm almost at time, I'm just going to drop these in here. So this is our B-roll. You see a person talking. You see this guy in the bar, the coffee, and then you see an event. And so I'm just going to kind of randomly drop these in here. I have to resize them though, because we want, again, our 1928 by 1080, and increase the size like that. It's going to lower it just a bit. Same thing here. Make it a little bigger, and here a little bit bigger, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Now the positioning of these, like where you would put them, it all depends on what she's saying. But I'm just going to randomly kind of drop these in here to make it, to break up the longer periods of talking. And that's it. We're done. I actually got it done in time. Not that it's going to be good, but let's go and check it out.
What if every piece of content you create could be instantly valued as a genuine business asset? For too long, your brand's worth was relegated to the nebulous goodwill line on your balance sheet. Today, AI changes everything.
And usually, even with the B-roll, you still want to, time the B-roll.
Goodwill line on your balance sheet.
Okay, so that's good because she's talking about her balance sheet. So I'm going to end it there. Keep on playing.
Today, AI changes everything. Brand value is now dynamically quantifiable, measured in real time through your digital footprint, content engagement, and market perception. Your podcast was just marketing.
Ooh, that's a good lead in for this guy working in the bar or working in the
And
coffee
market
shop.
perception. Your podcast was just marketing. Today, AI measures its precise contribution to your brand value tomorrow. That same content becomes a tokenized asset in Web3. Content marketing generates 3x more leads at 62% less cost. Consistent branding increases revenue by up to 23%. 86% of consumers willingly pay more for brands they connect with. As a small business owner, every blog, video, or social post you create isn't just communication. It's a value-building asset that AI can now measure and verify. No more guessing your brand's worth. Know it, grow it, own it. In the emerging Web3 economy, your content doesn't just represent value, it...
All right, so right there, that's a good like switch. And as you do this more and more, you'll kind of find like, oh, that's a good spot to cut. And so go there.
Content doesn't just represent value, it becomes value through tokenization, creating verifiable digital assets from what used to be just marketing expenses. Don't just create content. Build quantifiable brand value that appreciates over time and transitions seamlessly into the asset-based future of Web3.
Boom, done. Did I make it? I made it, 3:59. There we go. All right, so that is how to make a pitch deck. And I think the only thing I started with was the definition. So just real quick, run through again what I actually did. So I used Perplexity to create my statistics and also write the definition of what I'm calling brand value. I then went to Claude, created a project called brand value, trained it on both my brand aspects and my definition of brand value. And then I ran a simple prompt, create a pitch deck script for a 60-second video, creating to prompt to promote the concept of brand value. So I did this prompt, I created the script. I then also created a list of images that I generated using Midjourney. With the script, I created an avatar using 2 different angles. I created music for the background based on my branding again, and I animated those images I created with Midjourney using Runway. So that is what we got done today. Are there any questions before I go ahead and upload this and share it with everybody? Let's see. That was pretty cool. Now this part is not in my wheelhouse. Yeah, so the editing side is still editing. Now the stuff I did wasn't complicated editing, and it doesn't get too much simpler than what I did. And the reason I do the editing specifically the way I do it is because it's the cheapest and it's the easiest. And so if you say went to a creative and said, "Hey, I want something like this," they should know exactly what I did. Or you just send them this video, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I could do that. That's relatively easy." And you're good to go. But you as the business owner or the marketer should definitely come up with the script because you'll know more about the business than say somebody who just wants to edit videos. Thanks for coming, Sin. That was fun seeing you. I just did this because I was like, I gotta make this anyway, so I might as well show people. But enjoy. Check out these different apps. There's a million, just so you know, there's a million different ways to do this type of generative content. You have a million different generators, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. If you use this process, you could use any of them. And as they get better, you still have the process down, which is actually the hard part. And pretty soon you should be able to train an AI agent to actually do all of this for you. It's still too dynamic, so I don't think it's going to happen probably in the next year or so, but it'll be here. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for coming. Tune in next time to Mark Does Live Stuff on the internet with people watching that has to do with content and branding. I'm going to come up with a better name. So stay tuned for that too. All right. See y'all.